ching, ching, ching. That's related to today. Oh, goodness. Good weekend. Good weekend. Good weekend. I'm making my smoothie. I had a good night last night, too. Happy Thanksgiving given. That veggie hoagie was delicious. Oh, my gosh, it was delicious. I didn't do Thanksgiving this year. I decided that, yeah, I didn't do Thanksgiving this year. It was easy. Well, it really wasn't my choice. The family's mad at me. They can be mad all they want. I really don't care. They need to drink their smoothies. My family was having New World Order, cuckoo Thanksgiving, this Skype or something, Zoom, something like that. I had no interest in it. Zero interest. So I sent my kids and mama. Their mama side was having regular Thanksgiving, thanks colonizer giving. So I sent them over there. So I got me a veggie hoagie. I got me some barbecue potato chips. I ate all the food that you should not eat, which is really funny about me. I tell you things that you shouldn't. But I tell you that because my body is fine. My body actually already cured the common cold that everybody's having trouble with. And for some good reasons, too. Oh, wow. Which is why I'm drinking a smoothie this morning. Because I ate all that crap. I ate American food yesterday. I might die today. So I made my nature has the cure. Question, I made a meme. How come nobody's asking nature how effective her cure is? Nobody's asking that question. Not since the Supreme Court of New York asked her. She answered the question. Great information came out on the cuckoo virus this weekend. Good morning. What is it? Oh, it wasn't the weekend, was it? It wasn't the weekend. Yeah, I don't even know what day of the week it is. I work 7 days a week, so I already know what day of the week it is. It is. Today is Friday, I think. On Friday? Yeah, I think today is Friday. Over Thanksgiving. So I'm drinking this now because I had my Ben and Jerry's last night, and I ate every bit of Ben and Jerry. Delicious. Delicious. The cardiovascular disease causing one, the best one. What is it called? Chocolate chip cookie dough. Oh, it's delicious. Tore that thing up. Gave me a little gassy, So I know this morning my body's like, yeah, we're not going to eat crap today, brother. We ate all that sugar that causes cardiovascular disease. The number one reason why people would die of cuckoo virus. Did y'all see that? The doctor I posted? Man, that doctor was off the hook. I have no idea who he is, but I just might have another Rockefeller doctor. I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm getting Rockefeller doctors. The Rockefeller doctors are staging a revolution. I'm fine with that. So I got my smoothie this morning because apparently something's out there killing people that have cardiovascular disease and diabetes. 80% of the people, they say you'll get it. You won't know you have it. You have some mild symptoms. They thought it was a good idea to destroy the world because of it. So I think that's about Zika's rate. Y'all remember Zika? Did anybody get cured from Zika? Did y'all line up, get the cure, the Rockefeller medicine cure yet? I'm sorry. I have fun with this. I do, because it saves lives, I think. Holistic doctor saves lives. Holistic medicine saves lives. That's why I kill holistic doctors and holistic medicine. Let me know when you figure this out. Nature created all the systems. That's nature. Science is trying to figure those systems out. They're guessing. Trust the nature. Look at the science. Look at the science, but trust the nature. Nature says you need to change your lifestyle, not be beholden and dependent on statin drugs. You need to read the cholesterol myth. You know what? There was a brown dude. I remember about last year or the year before Christmas time. You know what he told everybody? That's why I believe in divine inspiration. He said, everybody if you know somebody on statin drugs, get them the cholesterol myth. I know it's bad. Rockefeller medicine, allopathic doctors looking to cure people, and holistic medicine always just looking to see it's a crime scene, a global crime scene. Millions of people have died. Why? Well, somebody went around the globe, some cartel, and convinced people it's a better idea to take statin drugs till they die, as opposed to just change their diet and their lifestyle, as well as chemotherapy drugs to reduce inflammation instead of solving the problem. Right? They selling treatments. So I had to shift. I used to be the hippie in the family. I used to go around and tell everybody, you're gonna die if you don't do this. And now I'm not that person no more. They were mad at me when I was that person. Now I'm the hippie that's okay with that. I'm like the spiritual hippie. I'm like, well, if you eat the stuff, you're gonna die. And I'm okay with your decision. Like, that's up to you. But you're not gonna abuse me and my kids at Thanks Colonizer, Pocahontas, sex trafficking, human trafficking, Thanksgiving giving. day. You're not going to abuse them. So I sent my kids all over to their mama house. They had normal human Thanksgiving, which was good. So anyway, I want to tell that story. There you go. That's it. It was a murder investigation, pretty much wrapped up. I posted the doctor who told you that. I'll put the stats out there, and he said it the best way that he could. I might trust that doctor. Good morning, everybody. Riley's out of Facebook jail. Oh, that's so nice of you, Riley, them to let you out of jail. We so happy for you. And some of us know they ain't gonna last but 30 minutes. I can't believe that you've been out of jail for a day. You tell too many truthful things. Nope, they're gonna put you right back in. The recidivism rate will not be fixed with Riley. This is not gonna happen. She's one of these women that figured out patriarchal world ain't gonna tell her what to do. What is this? Nature told me to not trust anyone that's living. There you go. And don't trust nobody that's dead. Well, you can trust people that's dead a little bit better, Riley. Where they put all the holistic doctors, right? We kill the good guys. People still convinced we're the good guys. Hey, good morning, Marianne. What's that? Are we now naming flus like we do hurricanes? They're going to start because it's big money in that. It's big money in cures, scaring people and sell them cures. Big money in that. No big money in telling them everything's free in nature. You just got to go make a smoothie in the morning. You can eat bad stuff, but you got to trust your body. Don't trust me. Don't trust nothing else. Eat till you don't get sick. When you stop getting colds, flus, viruses, and all of that nonsense, then you got to die. Then you can eat your potato chips and your vegetarian hoagies for Thanksgiving with Ben and Jerry's ice. And you could eat every last bit of that ice cream. All right. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Oh, that's delicious. Ooh, my body get all excited. Oh, man. Used to get excited over steaks and barbecue chips and chicken, watermelon, all of that stuff. Shoot, potato chips, Fritos, Doritos, all that stuff used to get me going all excited because my body was confused. The food chemist put all that crap in my body to make my body think that's healthy. I'd be probably dead of the cuckoo virus right now if I kept on a course in life I was done. Before the hippies pulled me out. I met some spiritual hippies. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You get excited about something, you figure like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I don't get sick. I've been lied to my whole life. The commercials are lying. Big Pharma's lying. They're just trying to sell you drugs. They're just drug dealers. I realize it now. They created the problem. Now they're going to try to solve the problem. I get it. You want to tell everybody. Nobody wants to listen because they don't want to change their lifestyle. And then you become the spiritual hippie. You're just like, okay, I'm fine with that. That's what I told my brother this week. I said, yeah, I'm fine with y'all dying. That's up to y'all. He said, body could die if you don't show up on a Zoom call. It's like, no, I'm not colluding with terrorists. I know what they want to do. They want to mass vaccinate everybody on the planet. I'm not agreeing with the virtual signaling and all that nonsense. Oh, we're being safe. We're safe from Zoom. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to get people killed. You understand what I'm saying? Am I wrong? Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. If y'all love me, you tell me if you think I'm wrong. No, sometimes you got to give people tough love. I don't want them dying of cuckoo virus because it's not over yet. Cuckoo virus 20 is on the way, baby. What time is it? We probably got a month left right after the Mike Tyson fight in 2 days. And then cuckoo virus 20 is going to come. Then you're going to get sick and die. You have not changed your evil ways. Read the cholesterol myth. Stop eating sugar. The vast majority of people who die from this thing eat way too much sugar. What is it? The fat, whatever they said called cardiovascular disease was a total lie. Please read the book, The Cholesterol Myth. Anytime somebody got a face diaper on, just give them the book. Say, no, you can change your life. That's what you can do. So yeah, they'll probably start naming them. It's a sustainable business, right? You create the problem, then you convince people you're going to cure the problem by solving the problem while you sell them other products that make the problem worse. Hello, busy Black Friday. Oh, it's today Black Friday? Oh, it is, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, goodness gracious. Poor black countries put lands and stuff they stole all the minerals and resources from. In Ireland, too, they went up there and stole everything, colonized everybody, selling that stuff. Come on to Heidi Richards. Ooh, I want to get into the towel to Cheng. It's hot. It's hot. Yeah, yummy smoothie. Oh, it's delicious, Christine. I'm glad you reminded me. My gosh. People out here dying. They don't seem to know. They don't seem to understand that nature has their back. They don't seem to know their part in nature, Christine. I have no damn. So I posted the video. Did y'all listen to what that doctor said? And he's a Rockefeller doctor too. What is his name? Oh, oh, that's so delicious. Don't eat the avocado pit. So you spit that out right there, some spittle. It was a avocado pit. Somebody mentioned spittle this weekend. I think that's going to be my new word for a little while. I want to say spittle. Which, once again, I click on random comments. Nobody, please don't think about the comments I click. They're just random. Cheers. Good morning, Germany. Kati. Hopefully things are going well over in Germany. No one has animated G yet. Yo, yes, they have, Johnny. That is not true. That is not true. They've done a whole bunch of face apps with me. They done put me on women with big boobies, little boobies, guys, big butts, old men, movie theater animals. They didn't put me on everything. For reals. Hey, Janie, good morning. For reals. Good morning. Who's that? Jonathan. And Jonathan is wanting to come. He's driving home. Just okay. Jonathan's coming on. Good. We can do the tower chain. I figure it's a holiday, so I figure I go late, see if anybody's here. It's not a holiday for Lori. I saw her video this morning. That woman was at slavery just like me. It's about time for more docs to stand. They are, Lori, which is beautiful. It's a great time to be alive, watching all of these Rockefeller doctors standing up. Let me get his name for y'all. Not the one that wrote the cholesterol myth, the one who told you that if you keep disease management in your life and you trust these people, you're taking their product the rest of your life, that you're going to die when a common cold makes a shift. It made a shift and all these people died. So I love holistic doctors. They've always been on that murder investigation. While Rockefeller medicine, the people who even caused the problem with the big oil companies and all the junk food companies caused the problem. They were just looking for a way to make profit from it. Disaster capitalism. What doctor? Hold on, wait. I was listening to Dr. Cohen this morning. Ooh, my goodness. Was I looking at exosome theory this morning? Exosome theory is sexy. And it's going to break narratives. Dr. Mike Hansen. This is the brother right here. I'll say his picture. I don't know if we can show the video. So now finally they're doing investigation. He's talking about the autopsy cases, right? The people who died of the common cold this year, but it made a jump in function in what they're finding out. I'm just going to put, here's what I do. I'll put the link right there. Bam, no diggity. All right, there's a link right there. It's Dr. I'm going to try to bring the link on the screen. 2547. Y'all know that song? 2547. I love that song. Here it is right here. Oh, ooh, it's got that bad name on it. I don't know if I hit, yeah, I'm not going to show that. It has the C word. If you say the C word, CONONAV, it's cuckoo virus. If you say that, then it'll probably trap on and block the video. Let me just tell you his name real quick. I posted the link. Dr. Mike Hansen. He is a Rockefeller big medicine doctor, but he's helping people. They're going through the autopsy patients and they're telling you they're finding blood clots everywhere. I'm not a doctor. Do not play doctor on television. I do not play a doctor on live streams. Do not listen to what I say. You do what the hell you think you're supposed to do. You get yourself a doctor and you ask your doctor what you should do. And that's the other part of it, right? You can't tell people to get off these statin drugs. So I promise you this, there'll never be a correlation between people who are on statin drugs and died of cuckoo virus. There'll never be a correlation on people who take chemotherapy drugs and died of cuckoo virus, because then you're going to start to get close to what the problem is. Go watch that video if you want. I'm going to read comments, and I'm hopefully Jonathan is coming on. He's driving now. I don't, don't please stop live streaming while y'all drive. Don't do that. I learned the hard way. No, actually, I didn't learn. I live dangerously, but don't do what I do. That's why I say the same thing. Don't do what I do. I was live streaming. Nobody caught it. I think I was on a panel or something. The deer ran across the road. I played it off well, though. I'm still here. Howdy, good morning, Be True. Hey, I got to run around agitating the sheep, scare some mill grain experiment weaklings. Have a good day. Oh, you know what, Be True? And on that, Dr. Cohen is off the hook. You know why I love Dr. Cohen? Now I understand why he's figuring it out. He's another Rockefeller doctor, but he's figuring it out. Rockefeller allopathic cronyism doctor, right? The people who they subscribe to the narrative that it's not a cure unless it's profitable. Those folks. He figured it out. Dr. Cohen had a good talk with a brother that's going around creating organic, mostly organic food scarcity. He has a business model of turning people's yards into farms. And so now I know Dr. Cohen didn't figure it out, but doctors can only tell you so much. They're going to lose their jobs if they tell you. They're going to, hey, good morning, Jasmine. They're going to lose their job. Brother Walt said chemicals rock. And he's right. He's absolutely right. Chemicals rock the big pharmaceutical companies. Chemicals rock the world, because apparently if you take chemicals, you'll die of the cuckoo virus, which is why you should not be eating no chemicals. Your body got other things to do. Do not get me started on exosomes this morning. I'm going to tell y'all what I figured out this morning. They've known this stuff for a long time, people. They've known this stuff for a long time. I was going to put it in a post, but I don't think they'll let the post stay up, so I'll just ask you a few questions. So all cells exude, what is it? They excrete what is called, big words, but for the lack of the categorization of particles that are, you know what? I got the video. No, I'm not going to go to video. Every cell excludes exosomes. They release them, these little particles, into your bloodstream, very small. The interesting thing about exosomes, which we figured out a few months ago, that they were doing the studies and they realized that viruses and pathogens can hide in exosomes. Okay, so viruses and pathogens can hide in exosomes. And every cell excretes exosomes, is how your body communicates, one of the ways. Also communicates through resonance, which is interesting. Question for you medical folks. Do skin cells release exosomes? Some of y'all might know where I'm going with this. You might know why OSHA has requirements that people in viral labs cannot wear no damn mask. They have to have a positive pressure, level 3 full suit. What's going on, Elaine? What's that? If you figured it, you should have figured it out right from there. Right from there, you should have figured that nobody would cry. Right now, based on what what's this guy's name? Dr. Mike Hansen released in the autopsy video. Based on what he said, if I had COPD, I would not be leaving the house. That's me. If I had cardiovascular disease, I'd leave the house, but I'd be by my damn self. I wouldn't be out there. If I had lung disease, if I were on chemotherapy drugs, if I were on statin drugs, I would not be in no public that you can take your mask, your face diaper, and shove it up your butt. All right. Do not. The way that thing kills people with blood clots. What I would do is I would look in the phone book right now. Assuming that y'all still have these things. I'm a little bit old. I'm 29. Start flipping through that thing. Look up naturopathic doctor licensed in your state. You call your naturopathic doctor and you say, hey, listen, my doctor convinced me, or the pharmaceutical companies or the commercial advertisement, Rockefeller people convinced me that I have to take these things the rest of my life. Do you have a solution for me? Those are your questions. This is what you tell somebody that's also on these drugs that are implicated. Let's say that, implicated in trying to keep people alive with a condition that will let them die of a common cold unless it gets healed and they change their lifestyle. You can't just quit off these things. These things change how your body operates. Naturopathic doctor, how do I get off of this? Okay, well, I got a program for you. Come on in, let's talk. All right, you take my insurance, and most likely she's gonna say no. See, it doesn't work. Cronyism does not work. The United States Incorporated would not let you, let your insurance pay for what's going to heal you. So your next call is to your doctor. Hey, doctor, remember those drugs you put me on? I don't want to be on those drugs no more. I understand that people die of common cold if they're on these drugs. My naturopathic doctor has a program for me to get out of here. Can you guys work together and figure out a way to get me off of this? And then you can solve problems. Jonathan Close, good morning, brother. What's going on?
How you doing?
How you doing? Is this the first time you come on my show?
No, I've been on panels before. It's been a while though.
Well, panels, just you and I, though. Yeah. Personal time,
no,
fellowship.
We've never done that.
We've never done that.
High time we did it.
It's well past time. Well past. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was good. I had a nice day with my sister and brother-in-law and my niece and my nephew. So we had a good time. Yeah.
Okay. Y'all didn't get too close, or did you get close?
We did.
Some viruses back and forth.
Had dinner, walked the dog around the neighborhood, came back, played a few board games. Board games are big in my family. So it was a nice, relaxing, quiet day. Yeah. It was good.
Okay, good. Then you have the dog, and the dog's releasing some exosomes and viruses and stuff, and so everybody's evolving with the ecosystem
Well, he's making sure that we stay.
Oh,
Our immune systems get a nice workout from all that. Pet the dog. You know, go have some
yeah.
squash and some peas and some carrots and things like that, and then pet the dog some more. So, yeah, yeah,
There you
you
go.
got all
And
those
some potato chips.
all that nature, all that nature on your hand. Uh huh. That's right.
Oh my nature. All right. It's not funny. I
Right.
can't stop laughing sometimes. It's right in front of our face. It's just right there and it's so
Yeah.
simple. Elaine was
Yeah.
asking what's in my smoothie this morning. It's a lot of deep leafy greens. I go get the herbal mix, the spring organic mix of lettuce, and what else is in there? Avocados in there. I put 2 bananas. There's some raspberries in here, blueberries, and I think that was about it. I put carrots in. I don't even remember. I'm
Good.
drinking this Jonathan because I had Ben and Jerry last night, and I know better than that. But I ate Ben and
Yeah.
Jerry, every last one of them.
I'm gonna get a smoothie before I get on the road here. I'm definitely gonna do that. Yeah. Same thing.
Okay, good.
After
Your immune.
after 2 slices of butternut squash pie with whipped cream. Yeah. Today and tomorrow and this weekend, I'm going to do a little detox. So it'll be good.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is good. I mean, the human body can take abuse. It can take major abuse. I mean, that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that I can every now and then I can eat a Ben and a Jerry and lick the inside of the cup. It's just I have to be smart enough to remember that. Like right now, I can visualize what's happening in my body right now. My white blood cells are going crazy. The cytotoxic T cells are breaking down the pus in the blood and the sugar and destroying all this stuff so I don't die of cuckoo virus. And so I'm drinking this to help them. I could go get a donut. I could go get a bagel. But it's, chronic illness comes from habitual abuse of your body. I don't want to habitually abuse my body.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the Tao Te Ching, which is really fun that you're actually on here, being a studied scholar as you are. I appreciate you having you on here. It's a shame that it took so long.
Not in any formal sense, but yeah. Not in any, like I've got the papers to show it, no deal. Yes. My papers are all in English literature, but yeah, I mean, I did a cast on the Tao Te Ching, like probably real early on when I started doing live casting. So like May or round about there. And I only talked about the first 5 different stanzas, and which is of course a great place to start. Do you want me to just read one and then talk about it? Is that what you want to do, or how do you like to do this?
I'm
read one
okay
and then
with everything. So, well, this is what I've been doing. I mean, I've been cheating. I've been listening to the audio, letting them talk through where we are, and I think we're probably on about the 6th or 7th section.
Okay.
And then we just talk through it. But no, if you have something prepared, you have something, especially 1 through 6, because we missed your input on 1 through 6.
I've got my copy here, so I bring it, with me a lot, and I knew that you were doing the series of this, so I thought I've been toting it around whenever I've been on the road traveling, so yeah. Okay, so
I want you to pick and take us through, because I'm fine if I already told people that if this goes 80 parts, I'm fine with that. I don't care what they think. This is to me about knowledge. Like
that sounds about right to me. Yeah.
Well, that's the Tao, right? In terms of the Tao, in terms of balance, going with it. I'm not dictating how it should be.
Gotcha.
You came on, you've already got some knowledge there. Let's do that. Let's go that way, and then. What I'm trying to do is take that and apply to what we're seeing today, like taking a very practical approach.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Great. That sounds great.
All right,
sounds great. Okay, so I would like to point something out in the very first section of the Tao Te Ching, and the first section I'm using an older but a really good translation. It's Dr. John C.H. Wu right here. There's a lot of translations on the Tao Te Ching, and you'd be surprised at how different they're translated. Really, like some of them are really different. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is point out some of the etymology that was handed down to me. I don't know ancient Chinese at all, but my teacher and his teacher were ancient classical Chinese scholars, and they told us a lot of things. And one thing I'm blessed with is a good memory, so I can pull some of this stuff. If I had my annotated copy, unfortunately that's in storage. If I had my annotated copy, I'd be able to go into a lot more detail. But I'll still be able to give you guys a little bit of help with the actual Chinese. A little bit, just a word here and a word there. That's all. I won't bog it down with scholarism too much.
Well, hang on. So no, I love it. I love it. And I'm gonna try to translate what you just said to me, because you speak in intelligent. I speak in just crazy and having fun and all kind of other stuff. So you basically said to me,
that ain't gonna happen too much longer if I keep having lunches with Beaufort.
Y'all go to lunch?
I had lunch with him Wednesday. Yeah, well, I'm in San Diego, so I've got over here. He and I only live like 2.5 hours away, so this is the time we've gone out to lunch. Yeah.
I don't know if that's approved. I'm not sure if the community has approved that yet. I'm not sure because
I promise I am not his spy. I am not his spy.
See, that is not. Oh my God, y'all might be CIA. I'm not sure. So let me say this. So this is what I heard, and let me say I heard it right. So there are multiple translations, right? It came from ancient China, and I'm hearing an echo, or is that just me? I'm hearing my voice echo.
I can hear you fine.
Does it sound good?
Sounds good to me.
So, okay. So back when we used to study the Bible, studying scripture, right? We would say, okay, well, this was, we get a Schofield dictionary, right? We go back or with the exhaustive concordance, and you would look at each word and say, well, this word is in English. However, originally it was in Arabic or Greek. So let's look at the real meaning of that word, because there are multiple ways to translate things from one language to another. You can translate word for word, but that doesn't always work right. And you can paraphrase, translate by phrase, or you can translate by summary. And so all these different Bibles, there are 8,000 different versions. They're all translated different ways. And so sometimes you get stuck on a word. And so you go back to like an exhaustive concordance to look at the language prior to determine what that word actually was and the meaning in that language. So what you just said to me is because of it was written in ancient China, and your teachers are from there, you have a little bit of more a grasp and know those words and can help with the greater understanding from let's say not mistranslations, but drifts in translation from the
message. And sometimes a translation will pick up a particular meaning that is there in the language, but a translator often has no equivalent in English to what the ancient Chinese word is. And so he or she has to make a decision. Should I interpret it this way or that way? And if I interpret it this way, then I'm leaving out all of these other shades of meaning. It's poetry. And so with poetry, you've got oftentimes words that can be translated in a few different ways. And a good work, a good translation on the Tao Te Ching will offer you in the notes some alternate ways of approaching this. In my copy, which is the Wu translation, which was the one that I had in the classroom 20, 25, 30 years ago now, and my teacher broke down, because you can see that on one side of it, it's got the ancient Chinese characters over here, which don't mean anything to you or me, but they did to him. And he was able to say, okay, you see this character right here. And we would actually, in my annotated version, I would be able to just draw a line right over here to this word with a couple of other alternate English translations for that word.
Okay.
And let me tell you that, Gerard, it just opens up the meaning a lot. So I've got a few of these in my memory, so I'll be able to pull them in for you guys. So
okay. No, it's powerful. Like just what went through my, and so right, that seems like that's the exact type of approach in getting the real original meaning. But also today you've got the apps where you can take a picture of the Chinese character and get the translation also yourself. So that's
it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So two things before we get started.
Okay.
One, anybody here who's not subscribed to Jonathan Close, please do so. He does literary meanings, and he just always takes everything a step further, which is very powerful. So make sure you subscribe to him. That's number one. Two, can you give us like a general context or background of what you think of the Tao Te Ching? And like, so what I'm fascinated by is that most of the world's religions have so much in common with the Tao, right? In terms of root level philosophy and understanding.
Yes.
Do you have any insight on why do you think that is?
Well, I'm the tradition that I've been trained in, and the tradition that I completely accept, is the non-dual tradition. That's the name for the world's, the world's spiritual wisdom traditions that basically say that the illusion that you have in your mind of separateness is just that, an illusion, and that the world is not made up of separate things, but is one whole thing. So that's why we call it the non-dual, meaning not two. In Hinduism, it's the doctrine is neti neti, which in the Sanskrit means not this, not this, not this, not this. And the method of approaching to wisdom that you find in the Tao Te Ching, that you find in Socrates, that you find in Hinduism and Buddhism and esoteric Christianity and all around the world, the method that you find for uncovering the truth is to first eliminate what is false. And you by eliminating what is false, you reveal what is true. The mind cannot grasp positively what the truth is, but what the mind can do is eliminate everything which is false. And this is after all what the bottom line goal in all meditation, all yoga, all contemplation is. So that covers East and West right there. The practice that you find in Benedictine monasteries to meditate on a particular line of scripture until you remove everything about it that is false is Taoism, understood properly. Right. One of the things that really was brought out in my learning is the interconnectedness of wisdom.
Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Is it really right? Is it really interconnected, or it just is what it is? And no matter where you start, whether you're in the East or West, Christianity, Muslim, wherever you are, you're always going to lead right back to, if that's not true, this is true. It's almost like taking a scientific method approach to determining, I don't, necessarily know what it's called, determining what is true. And so what I'm hearing is, it's, and I agree, it's not necessarily that it's interconnected, but you have truth. And the only way to get to truth, or the best way to get to it, is eliminating what's not, because your mind couldn't barely grasp what's true, because our minds tend to be indoctrinated in the different cultures, religions, and identities that we're reared in.
Yeah. I'm trying to ignore Beaufont's comments.
I ignore everybody's comments. It gets me in trouble.
He's still there, though. He's still there. I know.
I know he's there. I see the misspellings he does intentionally. It's like I randomly click through them, and just so what people are discussing in the room can appear here. So I just want to clarify once again to everybody.
Yeah.
Very few times do I read ahead of time. It's usually just random.
Right.
Thank you for that. Yes.
To get back to what you were saying about the interconnectedness of wisdom, it's because all wisdom. Whether you read a haiku from a Japanese Zen poet, or you read a sermon of Meister Eckhart, or you read one of Plato's dialogues, or you read a stanza from the Tao Te Ching, you often find the exact same teaching in all of those things. Maybe the vocabulary is a little bit different, but once you study the vocabulary a little bit, and it doesn't take that much, and like you said, we've got all these resources now at our fingertips, and you discover that these guys were all saying basically the same thing. And
Yeah.
in fact, sometimes they say identical things. Like, for example, knowing that you don't know is the highest is a direct quote from Lao Tzu. Well, that sounds like Socrates. He could have said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
He said, I am the wisest of all the Greeks because, according to the oracle, I am the wisest of all the Greeks because I, of all the Greeks, know that I know nothing. So that's pure Socratic wisdom right there. And you can find that same doctrine in the Tao Te Ching. You can find it in Hinduism. You can find it in the Upanishads. You can find it in modern realized masters like Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj in his book I Am That, which is a marvelous magical book.
So I want to add to that.
Go ahead.
I want to add to that. And so root, I mean, the truth is the truth, and it's at the root, and it's not interconnected. But what is interconnected is all of these people, all of these religions to the truth, and a lot of them did a lot of travel amongst each other. And so that leads, because I hailed in, from the Christian perspective, indoctrinated there, the book that talks about how Christ spent a lot of time in India. And, and it's hard to kind of accept these things at first, but when you really start to read the multiple sources and you see them all linking together the same wisdom, it becomes obvious that Christ got that wisdom from somewhere. He brought to the whole Mediterranean region the Buddhist and Hindu philosophies from that area. And a fun thing to study for anybody who hasn't already heard about the declassified Adam and Eve story, you should look it up. You should go straight to the CIA website and download it. And one of the things that got me, Jonathan, from that book was that, he basically said that, there was one root religion, and all hailed from that root religion that came from the areas where Buddhism and Hinduism was taught. And that, of course, ended up those ancient scriptures in the Egyptian pyramids. And this is where Moses and Aaron did a horrible job of translating things like the creation story that goes back to the Naga gods. Right. And so, I mean, it's just a fascinating thing to study.
Yes.
And then it's a fascinating thing to ask, well, why in the world would the CIA classify a book that talks about the Adam and Eve story? Like, it makes no sense to you. In fact, not only that, but it is the most classified document that I've ever heard of, right? And I've mentioned this before, and I'm saying it again. I'm sure you've heard it, but I'm saying for anybody new, the JFK files, like 11% is still classified. The Martin Luther King shooting, 5% is still redacted and classified. The 9/11. So all of them have these smaller percentages that when they release the document, they only redact a certain amount of it. The Adam and Eve story, 80% of this document is still blotched out. And it's applicable today when you think about the CIA, right? Because how do they make their gains are on conflict, right? They keep groups in conflict over each other for resources for Wall Street. And so the number one reason people conflict is over religion. But what happens when people realize all their religions go back to one original source, and one of these links is the Tao Te Ching, which shows you there were ancient wisdoms in Indochina that everybody adopted.
Yeah. You mentioned the CIA. We know that, the Vatican has an immense library that they're hoarding documents, artifacts, God knows what else is down there. And reason is not so much to hoard knowledge for themselves. The real reason for that is to keep certain things out of our minds, to keep us in the dark, to keep us ignorant of our own history, of our own tradition. of our own wisdom. And God knows what they've got down there.
Yeah.
If
How
I
much?
think if
It's 10 miles, right? They say 10 miles of bookshelves full of books that you can't read unless you already know the name of the book. And if you go there, you have to be affiliated with a research
yes,
organization, and you can
yeah,
only have 3 books per day, and then you have to give them back. And you have to study in a room. I
yeah,
think they limit what you can take in the room.
oh yeah,
And so I'm just going to add on what you're saying is right. Knowledge is power, but it's
yes, it
only
is.
powerful when you deny it from the masses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's very true, because obviously we are in a condition of artificial scarcity, as you've pointed out so many times. And this applies to our bodies, to our energy, to the food that we have, to everything. But the real scarcity is
Ooh.
scarcity of ideas and of knowledge. Because if we had the knowledge,
Ooh, what? I'm
make our
sorry. I'm
change at
sorry.
any time.
Ugh, hold on. You just blew my mind. Hold
I
on.
broke
I'm
Gerard,
sorry. You
everyone.
just blew my mind there. Hey, you broke me. Hold on. I'm broken. I can't think for a minute. I got
All
to
right.
process through what you just said. This is how my brain works. And I'm sorry, but I have to process through things because you got so much coming out. So you basically,
Yeah.
because yes, I talk about artificial scarcity because it's huge for me, right? It's something
Yes.
I'm only in the last few years starting to really understand coming out of the automation industry, right? Our job was to solve scarcity problems. Our job was to solve problems. And so I realized that we solved abundance, right? We can
Yeah.
provide everything that everybody needs so they could
Yeah.
be healthy, strong, food, house, all that great stuff.
Well,
So,
I quote
and it's like,
Orwell whenever I get the chance.
mhm.
His section in 1984, and where he's, it's the book that Winston is reading, that was written by Emmanuel Goldstein right before O'Brien captures him and takes him off to the Ministry of Love. And in that section of the book, he says that we have had the logistical, industrial, and technological ability to shelter, feed, clothe, and take care of the basic needs of everyone on the planet since the end of the 19th century, since the winding down of the Industrial Revolution. And today is 2020, which means that we've been able to eliminate poverty and scarcity of every kind on this planet for 125 years. And of course, the reason why we have not done that is because of parasites, energetic parasites, rulers.
Because right, and
Yeah.
scarcity, which is why you're blowing my mind with it. And I can confirm everything you just said from what I've seen from modern technology, which is 20 years old, let alone almost 100. So
Mm-hmm.
scarcity in all aspects, right? Like I think about food scarcity, but you got me thinking. So right, artificial scarcity they've been denying from us because it makes them powerful is everything. It's not just food, it's water,
Yes.
land,
Yes.
knowledge,
Yeah.
science,
Mm-hmm.
health, enough doctors for an area, enough nurses, cars. Like this artificial scarcity to me is now a deeper thing, which is what you're kind of blowing my mind. All
Yeah.
the things, not just the things that keep us alive, but the things that would take us up to a point of thriving, that the whole model of the world has been a few, which most people are still listening to, keeping any and everything from you that empowers you. And I've only really thought about it from a food perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so we are literally a zoo that's being starved in every way possible
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of keeping us all in conflict with each other. And
Right.
I'm processing that for a
Yeah.
minute. But
Yeah.
when we say artificial scarcity now, for me, it has a different meaning. It is everything. And
Right.
only, like you said, you'd have to be a very dark spirit to want to deny children any
Mm-hmm.
and everything you can to guarantee that when they grow up, they'll get the cuckoo virus. And
Right.
as they're growing up, their frontal lobes won't develop. They don't feel a sense of freedom, so they don't even know what the hell it is. Yeah. Like there's so many things of that are just beautiful in what you just said. So anyway, I'm going to let you talk.
Well, you know, The Matrix was a documentary. It wasn't. It was a documentary. So yeah,
I'm watching it today.
Okay, yeah. Good way to spend your holiday.
You know what I did? I was going back and I was listening to the clips of the agent and the Oracle. And just the agent and the Oracle and the powerful things that they said that apply to today. I'm not only convinced that this is spiritual warfare, but I'm also convinced that the spirits that are on the side of moving things forward, they utilize Hollywood, they utilize books, they utilize stories and song to pass these ideas down, because the depth of the things that the Oracle said to Neo, they have so much meaning. The depths of the things the agent said, right? Because what was the agent? The agent was a captive of the program too. The agent was a captive of the Matrix. The agent Smith, he was one who was raised in an artificially scarce environment where he was trapped like all the people his job was to keep trapped. He was no different than the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the rest of us. And so he got to a point where he wanted to break the Matrix because he wanted to be free, where he got it wrong. I mean, right. He was the hero in a way that he wanted to break the Matrix. He just wanted to take that power and use it for himself. But anyway, the point was that, you know, maybe we need to just do a Matrix thing. I need to kind of geek out a little bit on the Matrix, but it was a documentary. And back to the Tao Te Ching. The truth is the truth is the truth is the truth. It doesn't matter if it comes through a Bible, a Quran, a Gita, the Tao Te Ching, Matrix, Hollywood, somebody you don't like, YouTube, ABC News, a doctor. I'm blown away by Rockefeller doctors now saying things that are blowing my mind, because it seems like they're getting back on the side of the human race. So anyway, and I got all the time you need today, but we'll be here all day if we don't get to go. This is why you need to come on the show more often, Jonathan. You got too many jobs. This is
my kind of thing. So
I would bet that you reach more people online than you reach teaching.
Well, yeah. I mean, when I'm teaching my kids critical thinking. I'm teaching them how to spot logical fallacies, how to spot BS, basically. Yeah. And I use the mainstream media and I use politics as my material. And let me tell you, they love it. They love it. They really do. Because first of all, no one has ever actually turned on their mind like that, you know? And I start every semester with the allegory of the cave, which is the catalyst, which, like, you should see their faces. Well, at least you should see the faces as they used to be in the classroom. I don't see any faces now because it's all on Zoom. But anyway, you know, it is what it is. But the point I want to make is that 18, 19, 20-year-olds have just been through the system. And the smarter ones know that they've been lied to. And in fact, all of these farm kids know they've been screwed by the system because their parents got screwed and their grandparents got screwed by the system. And these are smart kids. Definitely. And they know they need some skills because they're going to be thrown out into the workplace, and they have not been prepared at all by K through 12 because it's just a joke. I ask them, is it babysitting? And I get just their heads nodded like that. So when someone comes along and actually tries to teach them something, they really respond. You know, what Mr. X said in Oliver Stone's JFK, people are suckers for the truth. Well, they are. Especially the young. Especially the young. That's why Socrates had so much success with the young men in Athens and ran into so much trouble with the old men.
The indoctrination.
Yes, they were fixed. Those old men were fixed into the matrix, and they had this idea in their mind that they had wisdom, and they were going to tell you all about it. When in fact, Socrates showed them that they had not really thought about what they claimed to think about. So let me read.
That's that. Yeah, I was gonna say that's that root saying. It was something about a dog and some tricks and a ball. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
And it's
And I
because
think
they've invested so much of their life force and their energy and their time into the system. They're not going to break it. They're just not.
But well, the system's designed to do that, right? The older you get, you got the mortgage, the car payments, your retirement, your investments, all that stuff is adding up. So there's the willful, but then there's the systematic reasons why you don't want a free world, why you want the kids to work in, in these 20,000 different slave plantations called industries. And so but I think that's mostly what we do here, right? A lot of what we do here is talking to the older ones in the community, us adults and older folks, to get out of their way. Because the kids know something is wrong and they want to fix things, but they're indoctrinated to target each other as opposed to the system that makes them target each other. So I think the kids are hungry and they want to learn, which is why I appreciate what you're doing, because it's always been my longstanding point that more than math, science, and English, which to me, you actually could get rid of them. You could delete them from every school on the planet. I know teachers don't want to hear that, but this is my perspective. Math, science, and English are designed to build a world that we already have. We have cars, we have airplanes, we have boats.
Really want to give kids a grounding in math, science, and English, then everyone that's actually worked in education knows how to do that. You bring in band, you bring back the arts, you bring back theater, you bring back literature, you bring back all the real thing. Right? You bring back all of those things that inspire their creativity.
Oh, see, here's the problem.
That's all you have to do. That is all you have to do in the classroom. The kids will feel all this energy and be motivated to go learn something themselves. That's all you have to do.
Mind. See, brother, we're going to read the first letter of the Tao because there's so many things we could talk about, but I kind of love it because let the conversation go where it does. I don't want to force it because I think there's a lot of things.
Let me read chapter 1
philosophy.
Here.
Philosophy. Oh, okay. Read chapter 1 then, bro.
No, go ahead and finish your thought.
No, I see. The problem is if you let me finish this thought, then it's gonna go. So I came from a family of educators.
Okay.
Right? And so, math, science, and English were used to build the Rothschilds and Rockefellers world. Right? All the infrastructure to get to a point where we could provide for everybody. We're already there, and we've been there for over 100 years. So if we now can feed and house everybody on the planet, and they can have their freedom, that gives them the time to develop consciousness. And where we are, we don't need math, science, and English anymore developing those things. They can be tag-alongs with critical thought and philosophy and band and art and music and all those other things that we're lacking. Because what we're lacking is what somebody, Mark disposed, creative thinking, right? They don't want creative thinkers. They don't want people, as George Carlin says, smart enough to question machine. They just want people to build a machine. And so,
and to take
we
the
can
orders.
get rid of all and take orders. We can get rid of all of that and just focus on philosophy, critical thought, consciousness, the more important subjects than math, science, because we have technology we aren't even socially evolved for yet, right? We have the ability to build everybody a house, but we have homelessness. We can build houses for free for everybody, and we can free everybody. We can feed everybody. So
what percentage of the population actually understands this technology, understands how it works, understands how to build a phone? What percentage of the population is that?
Well, it's a percentage that will disappear in a civil war. It's a percentage that will get wiped out because unfortunately, very few people can do these things and they'll go extinct, which then gets us to like ancient archaeology. And like we're in a cycle of restarting, but the smart people die in violent times. And so you don't rebuild those things for another 200, 300, 400 years. And so, but this is where we are. And so I love what you're saying, because it's the education system that does not work at all, which is why I go back to what I wanted to say before was there are only a few teachers that I remember. Have you ever heard me say this before?
No, I don't think so. Go ahead.
I only remember a few teachers. There are only a few teachers I remember. I remember Miss Hebert. And why I remember her? Because she was a biology teacher. I didn't care anything about biology, but Miss Hebert would put on boots in the 7th grade, get us out there in the swamp, grabbing frogs, turtles, and everything. She loved what she taught. She was excited by what she taught. Yeah. Back then, the Department of Education wasn't the slave, driving force that it is today. Teachers actually had more control of their classroom. So so as a kid, I don't know anything about biology, Jonathan. Yeah. What I do know is this person does, and this person's excited by it. I remember Madame Glida. She was my French 1 teacher. She barely spoke any English till the last day of school. She loved French and teaching kids so much, right? So it's the people who are excited. Mr. Pidcock, he was a shop teacher, and so if I think about all the teachers I've had, I've had 100 teachers.
Passion is contagious.
I only remember.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
And kids are like sponges. And so when you have someone like you teaching children critical thought and you're excited by it because it's going to free them, they absorb it like a sponge. So part of what we do have to do is decentralize it. We have to go back to letting teachers teach, police, doctors, doctor, and take away all the central management in these systems that make everything not work.
Right.
Good morning, Holly.
Yeah, God forbid we teach kids something. I was just having this discussion that school is no place for kids. It should be no school left standing instead of whatever George Bush's family member was trying to get us to understand. Something about no child left out or some bullshit.
It's not a school anymore, isn't it? Isn't it designed after Hungarian prisons or something like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was telling somebody this morning about why Santa Claus's bag of toys is red, because it was full of freaking kid heads that the Pope guy decided were bad, or I don't know. There's a whole story behind it, but it has nothing to do with what we celebrate today.
That's disgusting. I don't even want to do that.
So whatever education.
So Jonathan, take us in, because if we don't give Jonathan.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going to read the first part. Yeah. So the Tao can be talked about, but not the really real Tao. I'll explain what that means in a minute. Names can be named, but not the really real name. This is if you're trying to sell your self-help book, this is not the way to do it. Because basically what Lao Tzu is saying is that you won't find the truth in this book. Ways can be talked about, but not the eternal way. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. You can't put it into words. You can't put it into words. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So there's a paradox there, a seeming paradox.
Yeah.
Okay? So the Tao is nameless and nameable at the same time. So as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. Now, I'm going to give you guys a different translation for these two lines here. Okay. Always be without desire, so that you may perceive its essence, its inner quality. Always be without desire, so that you may see and perceive the truth. Yet, always have desire, so that you may study its outer aspects in the world. So you've got here two sets of contradictions. These two, desire and desirelessness, manifestation and pure being, these two flow from the same source, though differently named. They pass through the same doorway, though different. And the doorway for both is the mystery. How we can experience both desire and desirelessness, how we can experience both of the opposites at the same time, both yin and yang in the I Ching school. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are the mystery. The mystery of all mysteries. That's chapter 1. So there's a lot to meditate on there. There is a lot to think about and to ponder over, because really what he's doing here is he's describing the layout for the Dai Chi symbol. In the West, the same symbol is the symbol of the cross. You have in the cross, you have the vertical intersected with the horizontal. You have eternity or essence or desirelessness or the now intersected by manifestation, by this 3D consciousness in time, perceived in time. And where do those two lines intersect? In the center. And that's where we are. We are in that center point. We are composed of both time and eternity, both heaven and earth, both transcendence and immanence in the Christian system. All these languages, when you break them down, the idea is the same. Is that to borrow the words of Soren Kierkegaard, we are always in crisis, spiritually understood. We are always in crisis. Yeah. And that we like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz have to bring down that divine energy and anchor it in the world. And how do we do that? By working on this. By working on this right here. This thing right here called Jonathan or Holly or Beaufont or Gerard. That's how we do it. So,
especially Beaufont and Gerard.
Whoa! First of all,
don't put those two in the same category.
No, because you know what? So let me chime in. I'm gonna add to that with that comment because
they're worlds of their own, aren't they, John?
So when I heard that, I heard the tares and the wheat grow together. So we let Beaufont hang around, but the tares and
he's gonna get even on both of us later on. You know he's going to.
I know. I'll probably be the left butt cheek of some pig, and you'll be the right butt cheek. I know he has that face app damn thing. And his tail will be wagging or something. Yeah. He's working on something right now.
The wheels are already spinning.
The tares and the wheat have to grow together. So let's go along with that, right? The yin and the yang, sustainable and unsustainable, the light and the dark, the maskers and non-maskers, the lockdowners and non-lockdowners,
the girls
the Christians and the Muslims. Like these things all, the girls and the boys, they teach each other, right? The iron sharpens the iron. And so this is where I'm getting to, because of course, I was raised in the church. And so my thought process go back to scriptures that are syncing up with what you're just saying in the title. And so to me, that's what I heard. And it's beautiful. And so, how do you bring down that consciousness? Well, you seek it from within. And what works from within is the Holy Spirit, right? It's how the way we put it.
Yeah.
And so, and that is a power that you don't wait upon. It's a power you invoke, because Christ said, greater things I have done, you will do, which means you are greater than Christ in many ways, because you're coming latter, not because you're better, but because we are all sons of this universal God energy plank, whatever it is. And so beautiful. Keep going. No, I'm processing, and it's beautiful how all that fit together right there.
Yeah,
it's Beaufonts and the Gerards are not supposed to grow together, because the Beaufonts is too easy.
We have found evil in the universe at last. All right.
But I will say this, I'm glad that evil came in a very smart package. Beaufont, he has lots of jokes, and he's very offensive to a lot of people, but that is a very smart gentleman.
Well, I've told Beaufont before that he's a trickster, and All
He
tricksters
is.
erode our self-importance, and that is we need to attack our own self-importance every day. Every day.
He is
That's
a
why
trickster
he is a trickster.
consciousness.
Yes.
And we could literally have 82 parts on just Beaufort and all the trials that come along with somebody being that way. But I was going to add in something you said earlier because I just thought about it. Someone asked, well, why am I drinking a whole, mug of smoothie?
Because I can.
Because in seeking the truth, I realized a cup doesn't do it. 2 cups didn't do it. 3 cups didn't do it. But I find that every now and then, a few times a week, I'll drink a whole thing of a smoothie. I get closer to the truth and find in doing what didn't work. And so now my body doesn't get colds, viruses, and flus. And so in that scientific method that Jonathan kind of explained in terms of discovering truth is stepping where you realize what doesn't work eventually to get you at what's true. Do I know that this works? No, I don't. Do I know that not doing pharmaceutical drugs and not being dependent on it? No, I don't. Do I know being a vegetarian? No, I don't. I just know the things that I was doing weren't working. And now I'm getting closer to the truth and living that.
It works. And that's why you don't care anymore if anybody else knows it works. That's why you're willing to hold it up there on the screen and like drink it in front of God and everybody because you know it works for you. Your intuition tells you this is okay. The cup of this junk did not do it. 2 cups of this junk was not getting me up to where you knew what you were after. Every cell in your body went after it, and it was a whole stinking jug of the juice is what you needed, at least twice a week. And you just busted through that gate, and you do know that it works.
Certainly it works for me. I don't know if it's the truth and it works for everybody. But, I'm going back and applying to what, Jonathan's saying, which is just powerful, is that understanding that sometimes you don't need to know that voting is right. You just need to know if it's wrong. Maybe you just need to know that giving consent is wrong. You don't need to know what's right. You just know it's wrong. You don't need to choose between capitalism, communism, and socialism. If you know that they're all wrong, then maybe you just don't engage in any of them. And eventually, this global consciousness, the human race or local, whatever it is, you're walking towards what is the truth by giving up on what obviously isn't.
Yeah. When you read someone like Krishnamurti, he's especially good at what exactly you were just saying, Gerard, of separating in your own mind, in your own consciousness, the truth from lies, and these are the lies that we tell ourselves all the time. And this is what the Hindus and Christine will be able to expound on this a lot more than I can probably, but discernment and discrimination, and this is the path that the mind can help. This is the part that the mind plays in our self-development, is being able to spot our own, spot the lies that we have believed, and to remove everything that is false. We don't have to understand the truth. We just have to understand what is not true. And I think that's hard for us in the West to get, to grasp. It's a really, but it exists in the West, but it's been buried because, and to go into the history of religion in the West is a long, long story. Basically, the esoteric tradition has been forced to go underground. It's there. It's always been there. And it appears in alchemy. It appears in ancient philosophy. It appears in the Christian mystics, both Protestant and Catholic. The people that were persecuted, like the Cathars in the Middle Ages. The Cathars were the first victims of the Inquisition. And all of these different threads throughout the West, along with Sufism and Jewish and the true Jewish Kabbalah, the true Jewish mysticism, all of those threads in the West had to go underground because of the powers that be, because of the politics of the day, which is still the politics of today, except that that we have a lot less control over what we think religiously than we used to. We still do, definitely. But Now this stuff can be published. It can be put out there. It can be talked about openly, which it is resurfacing. Brett is right. It's resurfacing and it's popping up. And you know, one thing that you mentioned, how all the wisdom traditions are tied together. Well, it's spirit that ties them together. Spirit is what ties all of us together. It's what ties, you know, the shamans with the sages, with the mystics from north, south, east, and west, all over, all four directions. So it's wisdom that does this. And one more thing I want to add before I, you know, talk about this again is it's not important. I'm paraphrasing a realized master, a modern one, named Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. He wrote, many of you are probably familiar with him. He wrote, he didn't write, his students wrote his teachings down in a book called I Am That. I Am That. He said, it is not important that you understand. It is only important that you not misunderstand. Think about the difference in that. This is someone that understands. He understands the finite human consciousness. The finite human consciousness cannot grasp the infinite. But what it can do is clean ourselves, clean our mirror of perception so that it is clean and can reflect the light. The real work of spiritual work is to empty yourself out, is to become empty, and so that you can become a conduit for the light, for the light that doesn't have an opposite. Go ahead.
Jonathan, you just put too much out there, brother.
Sorry.
I'm popping, and it's just like so there are a couple of things, right? So in terms of us, why do we have to do something? We're raised to believe we have to, right? We are indoctrinated to believe that we got to do something. We either have to vote red or vote blue. We have to walk left or walk right. We have to be Christian or be Muslim. We don't have stillness and patience. We're taught we always have to be busybodies. You got to do and so there's a stillness that comes in not knowing what to do, right? And to me, in this way, we're defying our indoctrination. There's sometimes doing nothing is everything. Sometimes in just stillness, right?
Exactly.
Like, you know, we sometimes,
you just hit on one of Lao Tzu's biggest themes is doing, not doing. Wei Wu Wei, which in the Chinese is avoiding contrived action, avoiding acting out of your own ignorance. Let me read chapter 48 because he's saying exactly what you just said a minute ago. Learning consists in daily increase. This kind of learning, having a huge brain like the Wizard of Oz, learning consists in daily increase. The practice of the Tao, of the way, consists in daily decrease. Decrease, and moreover, decrease again until you reach the state of not doing. Not doing, and yet nothing is left undone. To win the world, one must renounce all. If one still has private ends to serve, egoic ends to serve. If one still has private ends to serve, one will never be able to win the world. So when you try and do something positively, you only get bad results. And this ties in exactly with what St. Paul says in Romans. Whenever I try to do the good, only the bad is within my reach. He and Lao Tzu understood the same teaching. They understood the exact same thing. That when you try to act out of your ignorance, I'm going to vote the bastards out this time. This time it's really going to work. All of that contrived action based on ignorance. You just make things worse. and you push away what you're trying to bring into you. You push it away. You push away justice. You push away truth. You push away fairness and equity and every other thing that you're trying to get by your contrived action. Oh, I hope that makes sense. I hope I was able to
Christ
explain that.
commented, "When in doubt, do nothing."
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. When Socrates was being ordered by the tyrants that took over Athens at the end of his life, he was being ordered to go and arrest someone illegally, so that the tyrants could take that man that they wanted Socrates to go arrest and execute him.
Well,
he disobeyed. He simply went home. He just went home. And what happened? The next day, before Socrates could be arrested, the tyrants were overthrown. So Spirit resolved that crisis for him. It was a test, and he passed it. He did not touch the evil thing. He did not commit himself to an evil act based on some sort of fear that he'd be punished.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
and
thought I'd
so
because that was so timely what you said, Gerard. That was so perfect, and it ties in with so much of what Lao Tzu says about simplicity, about practicing not doing, and that's you have this idea of the good in your mind, and it's just a false idea because it's cooked up by the monkey brain.
And
practicing a lack of faith.
Yes.
Right. Practicing a lack of faith where you're, so in being still and doing nothing, that song, Peace Be Still, right? In order to be still, you have to have faith. In order to trust the will of the universe, spirit, soul, God, God, whatever you want to call it.
Bible quote
you have to be able to stand back in real faith and strength and let things happen.
Be still and know that I am God. Yeah. Or be still and know that you are God.
Who? Yeah.
Because according to Jesus in the Gospel of John, I and the Father are one. Be ye one with me, as I am one with the Father. You only get one out of that. It's a unity. There's no separation there. There's no that quotation from the Gospel eliminates all of this putting Jesus up on a pedestal. We need to take him down. He's one of us.
Oneness is the new duality. The pyramids were three. The whole Christianity. A lot of people tell you it's strictly based on the Trinity.
Yeah, and numbers are an important part of all this.
To the pyramids, that seems more of a foundation to be able to acquire source energy than a binary system. And we know that as computer people. We're moving from some people call it dimensions, whatever, 3D, 4D, 5D, but it's all about mathematics. I think Bo said a minute ago, this is not, it's not all about mathematics, but yet is it not, Bo? Is it not? Because when you get into fractals and actual the geometrics and the mathematics of the pyramids and what they could potentially have been, randomly placed there for, you can apply it to all of this, and our binary mindset, even the right and left hemisphere of our brains, boys and girls, pink and blue, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's ridiculous. We're stuck, and I like to say bye-bye duality. Don't let the screen door hit you in the butt, because we do need to establish our source, or to acquire our source through a different perception, as you say. The other thing I wanted to say too, we throw the word perception around like, oh, well, that's your perception and our perception, and through our perception and we perceive and well, can we just stop and talk about what our perception really means? That's all.
Perception is relative, but reality is not. And I think that's a mistake that we've fallen in, not seeing that reality is not a perception, that there is a reality. You know, in modernism in the West, the philosophy that's governed the last 500 years in the West, which is basically a materialistic, 3D based, physical based grounding in, and that's reality. You know, the idea that, you know, perception of the five senses is, you know, which was first posited by not necessarily Newton himself, but the Newtonian empiricists that followed him, like John Locke and some other people. Their perception of what reality was is still based on this finite human consciousness that cannot, you know, Newton is very complicated, and so is this. We're not going to be able to get to this in a few hours, much less in the time that I have with you today.
That's the beauty of the Tao, is that who can claim to be able to understand the Tao? That's the whole point of the Tao. I mean, I've been more on the Tao of Pooh lately. You know, like Pooh and Piglet walking through the forest, and Piglet says, "Pooh, why is the world sometimes so fucked up?" And Pooh says, "Because people are stupid, Piglet." I mean, that's the Tao of Pooh. The Tao of Pooh, and I've been on that lately. Getting into the actual Tao is, like I said, how could we ever discuss it in one group setting here?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
There's a lot to it, and plus, we don't. I don't know who got a great connection here anyway, because I think it's me. I'm actually having a delay, so I don't know when someone's talking and not. So let's get more into it, Jonathan.
Okay.
The point is, right, we're not going to get through it, which is fine.
Yeah.
We have all the time in the world. The world's like come to a halt. So this is the day the world stood still, whether you think it's aliens or viruses or that's or whatever's happening. We got plenty of time. You know, the bottom line is just getting to it.
Yeah. There's one other passage I want to read before I do have to get on the road. I have to get back to Yuma. But this is chapter 71. To realize that our knowledge is really ignorance is the highest. To regard our ignorance as knowledge is the sickness. Only when we are sick of our sickness shall we stop being sick. The sage is not sick because he is sick of the sickness. This is the secret of being not sick. So ignorance is the thinking that the contents of this finite human consciousness are the real deal. That's the sickness. Thinking that you know what you don't know, which is what Socrates said. Thinking that you don't know what you don't know is the sickness. And only when we are absolutely fucking sick of our own stupidity, our own ignorance, and our own ability to screw ourselves up, when we stop all of that and realize that ignorance only causes suffering. Ignorance only causes more pain.
Ooh.
And when we are finally sick of the pain, that's when we stop. Yeah, I just dropped a bomb on you. But yeah, so it is. That's it.
Yeah. So
that's why
I like taking it. Yeah, I like taking it and applying it to today. So, you know, my voyage this morning has been listening to this doctor right here. His name is Dr. Mike Hansen. And so what you just said when I heard that in so many different ways was the discoveries he has in doing the autopsy, that we're finding out that the majority of people who die from coronavirus, which I said the name, but hopefully they let me get away with that, are already sick. And there are people who have adopted the idea of being sick. They've already been taught that they should be on drugs the rest of their life, that there is no cure for high blood pressure.
Oh,
There's
my
no cure
goodness.
for CVD, that I'm going to take statin drugs the rest of my life instead of changing my diet because, or my lifestyle, for chemotherapy drugs as well, because I'm fine with being sick. I'm good with being sick. And so here we are in a time where millions of people around the world have died because we have an industry that's doing disease management who's selling the idea of it's a good idea for you to be sick. And now maybe this is a wake up, right? They call this the apocalypse. Maybe this is the great revealing. That maybe this will make people sick of being sick. Maybe they'll take all the imagery they have of people dying in the hospitals and the funerals and people dying and their family can't visit them, and take, instead of taking that and fighting the tares and the wheat, going back and forth, the yin and the yang, and they decide for themselves that, you know what, I'm tired of being sick. And I don't know if, you know, holistic is the way, but I know what I'm doing right now, taking the drugs till I die. The most profitable drug, the two most classic, most profitable drugs, the the statins and the chemotherapy drugs, things that suppress the white blood cells that end up being a part of this conversation that caused the blood clotting in this doctor's video that y'all should watch. Is because they've bitten into the idea that being sick is normal, that being ill is normal.
Can I say
so?
something?
Oh, there's just there's just so much there, and it just, to me, it's applying to what I was learning this morning, but it works in so many other ways. One last thing, and it works in terms of colonization, right? John Perkins, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, in his new book, we just came through Thanksgiving. Are we sick of being sick of the same colonization, war, destruction, all the things that come from this idea, that we live in scarce times, so we need to rob our neighbors, come to an end? So it applies in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Well, I used to, I've worked in the international medical consumables retail business, trying to convince major hospitals to buy a particular brand of rubber gloves. I know how many warehouses are in the world that are stockpiled with very often Chinese-made rubber gloves of every caliber and masks and, oddly, respirators, because these are consumables as well, because they all have rubber product parts and hoses. And when you're talking about a group of individuals that literally pay mortgages on entire countries based on the flow of this consumable retail market, you might begin to understand how hard they're going to fight this. They very well may be just, and the people that are advising that these poor sheep get on lifetime drugs, these are drugs that have been against class action lawsuits lately. These folks have to fucking recover, and that's all they're up to. It may not even be about the Satanists or the cabal. It's simply about survival. We put the corporate industry in charge of our lives. We hand our babies off to them. They're going to save their asses just like we would. If you've got 30 billion warehouses full of rubber gloves to get rid of, doggone it, you're going to do it. Come hell or high water.
Or you will
use a bunch of
create
ignorant sheep to get it done.
Yeah. Well, they did the same thing in Vietnam. They did the same thing in Vietnam. Bell Helicopter was going out of business, so they created the Vietnam War to save Bell Helicopter, among other war industries that were saved by the Vietnam War. They've been doing this shit for decades.
It's really not rocket science, America.
No, it's not.
It's really not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Hundreds of years they've been doing it. Problem, reaction, solution. Being a part of the problem and us not resolving it, you know? So, all right, we're going to start to wrap it up here, folks. So any last words? Tao Te Ching Part 5.
This was great. This was wonderful.
Except for I'm saying it wrong. I'm saying it's Tao Te Ching, right?
Yeah, it's pronounced like with a D sound. Tao. Yeah, you got it.
I want to report a conversation I had with a very hippie friend of mine today. You know, I have medically been expired twice. And it was incredibly disappointing. I'll grieve the rest of my life about my near-death experiences. It was like, are you fucking kidding me? But we were discussing this, and she's like, yeah, people are going to be pissed when they realize they spent their whole lives fighting their own perception of their own enemies, basically every step of the way, fighting yourself for things that you've done to yourself. It's so disappointing.
Yeah.
So heads up, don't fight yourself for having done all this shit yourself, because mostly a lot of it's ancient DNA memories that we have signed up to break these patterns.
Yeah.
And it's no birthday party.
We are our own worst enemy and our own best friend. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, we're in an ignorant demic. And maybe we are in a consciousness. Yeah, maybe we're in a consciousness demic.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say, I mean, what was resonating with me this morning is, and going back and forth with people over Thanksgiving, blah, 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 blah. I try to have patience for people, because I constantly remind myself that our family and friends aren't fools. The people who eat sugar and have mass that don't realize the links between cardiovascular disease, eating sugar, inflammation, blood clots, and now death from a virus, they were fooled. They're not fools, right? These are intelligent people. These are people with multiple degrees. These are people we grew up with, people we went to school with, people we live with, our family. They're not fools. They've only been fooled. And so I think it's kind of our position, to do what we can to enlighten them to things that we see, just as they see things that we don't. And I'm feeling great, man. I love this conversation. I think that we are in a paradigm shift. I really feel as though large portions of the masses are waking up and they're sick of being sick. Mm-hmm. So I think this is it. So listen, I got to get going too. Yeah. I really appreciate you guys joining. I thank everybody in the comments section. It was wonderful. We shall see you guys on Monday. I
vote for 3 more straight shows of Jonathan in the Dow.
I can't wait to read the comments, to be honest.
Oh, well, yeah.
Sometimes, Jonathan, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I need to put my hazmat suit on first to read the comments.
Our skin suits.
Yeah, so I'm picking up on some things. I'm not sure I'm gonna read the comment section. I'm not gonna do it because I already picked up. I don't read the comments, but I pick up enough. Yeah. I perceive enough. There's some shows we do, and it's just like, I'm not. I'm like you, Jonathan. It's like, I'm not gonna read.
Keep that vibe high,
which is okay. People. Yeah. Right. You have to speak your truth. Speak your truth. And like, we have to get past this idea of censoring each other. If you feel it, say it, and we can address it and deal with it. I think the only crime is when we censor ourselves and we censor other people. But I am going to censor my mind for most of these comments because I know where they're going. So anyway, I'm going to get going. Hey, listen, guys, thanks so much. You guys have a great weekend, and we shall see you soon.